Hi, flute players. So what we're going to talk about now is how to properly put the head joint up to your mouth so that you can make the proper position with your mouth to get a sound. There's lots of different ways that kids try to get a sound moving through this, but we're going to talk about what works the best in the long run. Okay, so when you're holding the head joint, make sure that you're holding it off to your right hand side. So if this looks backwards to you, pretend I'm doing it the right way, but this is my right. So if it looks opposite, make sure you're holding it to your right. Okay, so for this, you can see that there is the aperture hole. That's what that's called. And then you've got the mouth plate. You can see that this curves down here, and at this side, it's much shorter. Your mouth goes on the side that's really much bigger on this side. And when you go to put this to your mouth, what you don't want to do is make a whistle formation. A lot of kids want to pucker up, and that's actually not how you get a nice tone out on the flute. What you want to do is kind of line the edge that's going towards your mouth. So the part that's on the big side of the plate, this edge right here that you can feel, you should be able to feel that on the very bottom of your lip. So not on the skin, that is your chin going up to your lip, but right as the skin meets the lip. So I always take my finger and just make a little scratch there. And you can kind of feel that scratch even when you're not scratching it. You can just feel what you just did. That feeling has to line up with this edge. Okay, now you want to do this in the mirror because you can clearly see what's wrong with this. I'm not lined up in front or in the center or this way. A lot of kids just don't realize they're going and they can't figure out why is there no air coming through this. So you want to make sure you're in the center and that you have the edge of your lip lined up right on that edge. Now, once you find that edge and you can feel it, you kind of want to almost lay it so it's almost flat. Okay? Do you see how when you roll it towards you, you can get a sound, but it's really that you're blowing through it, and that does nothing really. So it might just be a coincidence or a happy accident if you accidentally get a sound out the wrong way. If you have it too far rolled out, see how that's too far? The air cannot go through where it passes over and kind of goes under and into the head joint the proper way. So there is a little wiggle room for each person because we all have different mouths and we all have to kind of feel out what is that perfect little spot. So when you're doing this, we always say the word poo at first because that little P sound kind of makes the air kind of, go out all of a sudden, and that kind of sparks that the correct air to get through to make a sound. In real life, we will not be saying poo for very long, but sometimes I can kind of help get the air going. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a movement so you can kind of see close up how this looks. What you want to avoid again is whistling and making your lips kind of come together like that. Definitely will not work. So if you are trying to get a sound out on this and you cannot get it to work, first of all, maybe take a break. Sometimes it can get a little frustrating. Also, there's something called hyperventilating. Hyperventilating is when you take in a lot of air very quickly, and it can make you lightheaded. And so before you actually know how to use your air correctly with this, sometimes it happens because kids are trying so hard to get the air to go through to make a sound that they're accidentally over breathing, and it can kind of make you feel a little woozy. So you might want to take a break if you're getting frustrated. When you're ready to come back to it, or if you're not frustrated, you want to kind of line that up, and you want to make sure your bottom lip is semi-flat Also, I see this an awful lot with the upper lip just completely over it. So try to avoid that. Go to the mirror and see if you can make this formation. And several times I have kind of just moistened my lips real quick because it kind of helps. If you're really dry, it's really hard to get the air to kind of slide out the way it needs to. That can help sometimes. And so that is what I need you guys to practice the most, is getting a nice strong tone. So once you can get a sound out, then you want to see if you can keep your bottom lip there. Take a deep breath in through your mouth so that you're not taking it in through your nose. You can't get as much air that way. And you want to keep your bottom lip there. See how long you can actually hold the sound that you're making. If you get really good and you want to like kind of move on, you want to do something that's called articulation. Articulation is a whole other thing. You've got to make sure you can get a nice, clear, strong sound. That's the most important thing you can do. After that, you want to do something called articulation, which is when instead of going P for poo, you want to use your tongue to say two. So your tongue, if you say two, it hits right behind your teeth. Two. So when you get your mouth up there, your tongue, by saying two, it's like a really long two. See, I'm saying two, 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 two while I'm blowing air. But I'm not saying, I'm not doing any kind of different movement with my mouth. It's holding pretty still. And my tongue is just kind of interrupting the air. Then have fun with it. If you can do that, that means your air is perfect and it's going really well. It's nice and strong. You can hold it there while you're using your tongue to say two. Come up with some kind of fun rhythm. You know, have fun. Do something that you make up. That's always the best. And then you can try putting this in with the rest of the flute to see if you can kind of get a sound out. Remember all of those things we talked about with the left hand under, right hand over. Don't worry about where your fingers go quite yet, but see if you can hold it and also try to get a nice, good air stream going. All right, see you next time.